So, welcome everybody. Appreciate your time. So, let's go from the beginning here. So, today we're going to talk about price rules. If you have any questions during the presentation, there is a chat window on your Ring Central toolbar. Feel free to ask any questions. We will have a Q&A at the end. My name is Gina Thomas. I'm the training manager at C&K Systems and your hostess for Training Bytes, a digestible approach to counterpoint training. We all know at point of sale, on the fly, your sales associates can, I think I skipped a slide there. No, I didn't. Your sales associates can actually do price overrides and transaction discounts on the fly. But those price overrides do take some mouse clicks because you have to click on the price override button. You have to typically either change the percentage discount, the dollar discount, and typically, depending on your configuration, select a reason code for that price override. The other problem with price overrides and transaction discounts is they aren't item specific. You can literally do a price override on almost anything in your inventory, and the same with transaction discounts. So time gets wasted re-ringing sales because maybe your people forgot to apply a discount to items that you were promoting that were on sale. It takes longer transaction times to perform price overrides. And if you do use discount codes for transaction discounts, they're way too broad. They can't be restricted for certain items, just dollar amount ceilings. So that's why we're going to talk about price rules today. Price rules are a wonderful tool in Counterpoint. They operate in the background. Every time your associates are ringing a sale, Counterpoint is looking at the customer on the ticket, the item that's being scanned, and reviewing your price rules. And if the customer or item qualify for the criteria in the price rule, Counterpoint automatically discounts it. So no one has to think, they just happen automatically. We're going to talk about promotional pricing today. That's for creating price rules for random, unrelated items that each get maybe a different dollar discount or a percentage discount. We're going to talk about contract pricing. These are price rules for related items or related customer segments. And we're also going to talk about mix and match codes, which are fantastic for BOGO pricing, buy one, get one free, buy one, get one half off, or offering a qualified grouping of items for one low price. Here's some basics about price rules that you need to know. First is how Counterpoint reads the price rules. When Counterpoint's analyzing price rules, it analyzes your contract rules first, then your promotional rules second, and finally your special prices rules. When Counterpoint finds a price rule that matches the criteria of the item on the ticket, it stops looking. So therefore, you can't stack your price rules, meaning if I'm offering a shirt at 50% off with one price rule, and then there's another price rule for that same shirt at 25% off, Counterpoint's not going to apply the 50 and then the 25. It finds the 50 first, depending on the group order. It just stops looking. So you can't stack your price rules. Price rules, and this is a limitation of price rules do not prevent your associates from further discounting items. So when Counterpoint automatically discounts an item based on a price rule, there's no mechanism to prevent your associates from highlighting that discounted line and discounting it further. So your associates have to be trained not to do that. Group order matters. So within the contract module, the special module, the promotional module, you may have multiple price rules. And the arrangement of those price rules, when you look at the group order, the rule of thumb is you want the least used rule at the top of the group, so the more popular ones towards the bottom. In this example, I have an employee price rule. Obviously, I have less employees than I do customers. So that price rule is going to apply to less people. So it's going to be the least used price rule and be at the top of the group. Typically, when I'm troubleshooting price rules because they're not working, this is one of the first things I'd look at. So first, we're going to talk about promotional pricing. The first step in promotional pricing is to do the planned promotion worksheet. Again, it's great for unrelated items that have different discount amounts or different dollar discount amounts. For example, I sell 50 books, but only 3 of the 50 books are taking a discount, and each book is taking a different discount. If you want to restrict the discounts to different customer segments, you cannot do that through a worksheet. Now, you can do it later when the worksheet is implemented, but it's a lot of clicking and a lot of work. So, to set up your worksheet, you go to Inventory, Prices, Plan, Promotions. You give your group some type of name like sale. You give it a description. You select the qualifying store, or if it's good for all stores, you can click on this button here. You specify beginning and ending date range. And then down here, you come and select your items either one at a time if you like, that's fine. And as you select the items, you can update the promo price or the discount. Or you can bulk add. But if you bulk add, the items have to have a discount in common. For example, I'm going to bulk add all my golf clubs, and they're all going to be 50% off. And if that's not true, after the bulk add is gone, you're going to have to visit each line that you want to discount separately. Once the worksheet is finished, and you can work on these worksheets at any point in time during the day, they don't go into effect until you actually click on Create Promo. And once you click on Create Promo, the worksheet disappears, and you even get a warning about it. And then all the rules move over to promotional pricing. And that's where you can go ahead and select the rule and apply customer segments. Contract pricing is my go-to for price rules because it's the first set of price rules that Counterpoint reads. But when you do set up a price rule in contract pricing, your items or customers have to have something in common. It's the same customer segment, or it's the items from a certain category or subcategory or vendor. To set up a contract price, you go to Inventory Prices, Contract Pricing. You give it a group name, you just make one up. Now, you are limited to 10 characters here, so you might have to abbreviate. But on the description, you can spell it out because you have 30 characters here. You can specify a beginning and ending date and even beginning and ending times. You can specify or filter on a customer segment, like here I did employee. Then on the Rules tab, you actually set up the rules. So you have to give the rule a description. So my rule is employee discount 25%. And then over here on prices, you specify the method. Maybe it's a discount percent, a discount dollar, a fixed price. The basis, base this on price one, which is your regular retail. And then the amount or the percent. Then on items, this is a filter. So if everything qualifies for this discount, you would leave that filter blank. But perhaps you want to restrict what applies to the discount. My employees get 25%, but only on golf items or only on food items, or everything except golf or everything except food. Then on the Sales tab, you could specify a particular store or multiple stores where the discount applies, and even a day of the week. So in an example where you have a contract price rule with no beginning and no end date, meaning it's in effect every single day from now until forever, on the Sales tab you could say it's only good on Tuesdays. Mix match code's great for BOGO, and the cool thing about a mix match code is you attach it to the price rule and the qualifying items. So that eliminates the need to use the item filter on the price rule itself. The mix match code is actually the filter. There's also a utility to bulk assign mix match codes. This is fantastic, especially if you have 100 qualifying items. Now, certainly you could go visit the item records and manually attach the mix match code, but the utility is going to be a lot faster to use. And I'll actually show you how to use that today. Now, there is a limitation to these BOGOs. There is no mechanism in Counterpoint to automatically discount the less expensive item. So scanning order matters. Your people have to scan the most expensive item first. There's also a configuration that needs to be enabled in order for BOGO to function. That's under Setup, Point of Sale, Stores. On the Tickets 1 tab, there's a statement down here that needs to be enabled called Use Item Total Quantity for Pricing. So if you set up a BOGO and it's not working, that's the first place to check. So when it comes to mix and match code, of course, you're going to set up your group, give it a name, give it a description. You can define the mix match code name on the fly through the lookup. There's also another area where you can just set it up separately and then select it. And then down here, you need to enable BOGO 2 for pricing and require full group to qualify. Here's what that means. If it's a buy one, get one, or buy two and get one, it means the customer has to buy the quantity you specify. So if it's buy one, get one, they have to buy two in order to get that second one free. Now, when they buy the third one, that'll be full price. The fourth one will be free. The fifth one will be full price. The sixth one will be free. There's also a utility to assign the mix match codes in bulk, as I mentioned earlier. That's under Inventory Utilities, Assign Mix Match Codes. You filter for the qualifying items up here at the top. Down here, you assign the mix match code. I recommend you preview the report and make sure that the items on the report are what you want qualified for those BOGOs or that group pricing. And then when you're happy, you can click Update Items, and Counterpoint will write those mix match codes for you to the item record. Now there's also a price test. This is very, very handy. A lot of people think when they set up a price rule, they need to actually test it in point of sale, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. However, if it's sale that takes effect in the future, there's no way you can test that in point of sale because it's for a future date. So this price test under Inventory Utilities Price Test is very handy. You can select a qualifying customer if that applies, the qualifying item, you can select the qualifying store, and the qualifying date. And then when you click on Get Price, Counterpoint will display the price rule that's affecting the item and also what the price is going to be when it's discounted at point of sale on the fly. And if you use a loyalty program, you can use this utility to test your loyalty points as well. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the software and get to work. So I'm going to start off with promotional pricing. So under Inventory, and then Prices, first it's a planned promotion. This is the worksheet. Once I update the worksheet, it becomes a promotional price, and the worksheet disappears. So I'm just going to come in here into Plan Promotion. And again, I'm limited to 10 characters on my group code. So you just make up a name. I'm just going to call it Spring. Now when I press my Enter key, the screen opens up and I can spell out on the description line something a little more detailed. Spring Fling 2021. Here I can specify a particular store that the promotional pricing is going to apply to, or I can click on All Stores. I can specify a beginning date, and then an ending date. Beginning first, and then an ending date. And then down here is where I can select my items, either one at a time or bulk. So I'm just going to select a single item. We'll select this 2-wood. And I'm going to say the promotional price. You can see right now it's $346.99. So I'm going to say the promotional price is $300. And then I'm just going to save my line. Now if I want a bulk add, I can come to Add Items. I can choose the subcategory of, let's say, clubs. But notice there's no mechanism to say some clubs are 50% off, some clubs are 20% off. You just have one discount field, and it is expressed as a discount percentage. So I'll say 25. And I'll click OK. And I'll just replace these. So if I do need to address individual discounts per item, I would actually have to click on the item, and you can see it's discounted at 25%, and I would actually have to change that percentage. By the way, if you want to just change the price, Counterpoint will calculate the percentage for you. So if I say the promo price is 300, then Counterpoint calculates a discount of 13%. Or if I come down here to the discount and say it's 50, then Counterpoint calculates what the price is going to be when it's discounted. Okay, then when I'm done, I'm going to save my worksheet. And now I'm going to create promo. This is going to move all these sales items to the promotional pricing. So I'm going to create promo. Counterpoint gives me a report. Okay, this is correct. This is everything I want discounted. It gives me a warning saying the worksheet's going to disappear. So once this worksheet disappears, you can't add to it anymore. And I also want you to know before I say yes to this, there's no mechanism in here to segment customers or to say which customers apply to which rules. So this is assuming that this is good for all your customers. So I'm just going to say yes. Okay, so now my worksheet has disappeared. You can see I have no arrows here. There's nothing here. But when I go to promotional prices, I'm just going to use my right-facing arrow. Here's my spring fling. I can alter the dates if I need to on the fly. And if I go to rules, you can see all these items are here being discounted for all customers. So if I want to restrict customer segments, I have to visit each rule one at a time and click on this customer filter and select the customer, the specific customer that is qualified for this or disqualified, or a category of customers. So now that I have this promotional price set up, I do want to go test it in my price utility. So I'm going to exit from here, and I'm going to come, it's down here in Inventory and Utilities, and it's called Price Test. So I'm not going to select a customer because these price rules apply to all my customers. But I am going to select an item, so I'm going to select one of my clubs. And this does apply to all my stores, but I'm just going to test it at the main for now. And now I'm going to come down here to click on Get Price. And you can see this is being discounted based on the Spring Fling 2021. It's going to ring up at $346, but the discount's going to be for $260.24. So this price rule, and I would probably test most of the items, just to get a sampling to make sure everything is going to work correctly. Now, if you prefer to test at point of sale, you can. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm just going to go to point of sale, and I'm going to go to my touch screen. And I'm just going to leave it at the cash walk-in customer because the sale does apply to everyone. And I'll just pick another club. So we'll pick this one. And you can see it's being discounted. I'm going to pick another club. We'll pick this one. And this too is receiving a discount. And it's beautiful because it's automatic. No one has to think about it. The other beauty, depending on a configuration, is that when you actually print your receipts, the discount information will appear on the receipts based on the price rule. So I'm just going to cash this ticket out. Now, in real life, you'd probably just void the ticket after you were done. And I'm just going to go ahead and look at the design. So you can see it's showing at the line level because of the way I have Counterpoint configured, that it's showing the savings. You saved 173 on this one, you saved 86 on this one, and your total savings down here was 260. So you might wonder where that configuration lives. And this only works if you're using out-of-the-box receipts from Counterpoint, not custom invoices. So I'm just going to close out of here. So if you want to set that configuration so discounts do appear, and these will apply to even price override discounts, manual discounts, or price rule discounts. If you go to Setup, Point of Sale, Stores, and I'm just going to select my main store. So let's go here. I'll select my main. Then you're going to click on the Receipts tab right here. And here's the settings down here, the detail type and the discount type. And there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can, express it as a dollar amount or a percentage amount. But whatever you choose in the detail, if you want the total to be in agreement, you have to select something that agrees with it. So if you don't select something that agrees, it doesn't make sense to counterpoint. It'll give you a message down here that says these two statements are not in agreement. So then you just have to change this one. So we'll do this. So now it's happy because I said a percentage, but express the total savings as a dollar amount. So it's very happy with that. I'm going to just save that. So next we're going to go to contract prices. Again, this is my go-to. I never ever use special prices, again, because of the way counterpoint reads. I like the contract. I do specifically if I don't have random items, I will do all my price rules in contract. That way, if there's a conflict or a problem, I'm only troubleshooting in one place. So I'm going to go to inventory, and I'm going to go to prices, and I'm going to go to contract. I'm just going to start with a real simple one, an employee price rule. So I need to make up a name for the group code. I'm going to call it employee. And I'm going to press my enter key. I'm going to give it a description. Now, by default, the rule is enabled. So if you don't want this rule to go into effect right away, you just want to set it up and implement it later, you could always just disable it or give it a later beginning date. When I'm troubleshooting price rules, if somebody tells me one's not working, this is another one of the first things I check. I make sure it's enabled. So there's no beginning date, there's no ending date. But this is only going to apply to a certain segment of my customers, that being employees. So it's important for your employee discounts that either A, each employee is created as a customer in Counterpoint and assigned to the category employee, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm just going to select a customer here. Let's select good old Ken. So this is the field I'm talking about. Okay. This is what I prefer. I prefer each of your associates has their own customer record, so you can track through reporting discounts that your employees have taken throughout the course of the month, week, or year. I have known some people just to set up a generic customer record called employee and assign the employee category to it. That's up to you. I prefer you have individual records. So I'm just going to come down here to category, and I'm going to say this price rule applies to any customer that belongs to the employee category. Now, right now, this price rule isn't going to do anything. I'm just setting it up. Now I'm going to go to rules. On the rule description, I'm going to further describe this price rule. Employee discount, 25%. Okay, now again, this price rule isn't doing anything right now. When I go to prices, now I'm actually telling Counterpoint something. So I can specify a minimum quantity. I usually leave this at 0 unless I have to buy 2 of something. The method can be pick a price, you invent your own price. It could be a fixed price, a discount percent, discount amount. It could be a markup or a margin. So typically you're going to do a discount percent, because I said 25%. Then the basis. What are we basing the discount off of? So we can base it off price 1 typically, but you can use your regular price, or if you have advanced pricing, up to 6 price levels. And then here, the amount or percentage, 25%. Now on the items tab, if I leave this blank, it means this price rule of 25% off is good for every single item in the store as long as the customer belongs to the employee category. If I want to restrict, well, this price rule for my employees is only good for food. Everything else they pay full price for. Then I could just say it's only good for food items. But I'm a really nice employer, so I'm going to let them get 25% off everything. Now, you could exclude things as well. You could say, well, the item category, everything except food. So if you want to exclude items, you'd have to customize the filter by right-clicking, customizing, and I could say item category is not exactly, I'm going to simplify this, and then I could put food here. So they get the discount on everything as long as it doesn't belong to food. But again, I'm a nice employer. I'm going to let them have a discount on everything. So I'm going to leave my item filter blank. The sales tab is to restrict this to a store or a handful of stores or a day of the week. I do give my employees a 25% discount, but it's only good on Wednesdays. So if they buy anything on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they don't get their employee discount. But again, I'm going to leave this blank so my employees get 25% off anything, any day. Now I'm going to save my price rule. And I mentioned earlier, group order matters. So your least used price rule should be at the top of the group order. So there's a button up here called Set Group Order. So I'm just going to click on that. There's my employee discount all the way down here. So Counterpoint would have to read through all of these price rules to get to this employee discount. And it might so happen that one of these other price rules, Counterpoint says, oh, well, this applies, and then it stops looking. So I'm just going to take this employee discount, and I'm going to move it up, just using the Move Up button here. And so now it's at the top. So I'm just going to close out of here, save my changes. Now I'm going to test it to make sure it works. So I'm going to go to its inventory, its utilities, and price test. And I'm just going to select a customer that's an employee. So we'll choose Kenneth. And then I'm just going to select any item from inventory. We'll just take this golf club. And I'm going to come down here and click on Get Price. So you can see the price rule that's applying is the employee discount. This is what the item rung up as, $346, and this is what it's being sold to the employee for, $260. Now I'm going to do the same thing with a customer that doesn't qualify. So I'm just going to choose Hannah, and I'm going to click on Get Price. Oh, Hannah must be an employee. She sure is. Here, let's do this customer here. So I'm just going to Get Price. Now notice the employee price didn't kick in. So Counterpoint read through all the contract prices and said, nope, none of these apply. Oh, but I found a promotional price that applies, so I'm going to apply that discount. And I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that promotional price because I'm going to be using golf clubs and some other things. So let's just go back to prices. Goodbye, promotional price. Now again, if you need something to go away, I probably wouldn't delete it, because of reporting. I would be inclined to disable it or change the dates. Now again, we have that employee discount. Now I want to test it at point of sale. So I'm going to go to point of sale. I'm going to go to tickets, touchscreen. I'm going to sign in. Next time I'll just minimize this screen so I don't have to keep signing in. I'm going to select an employee. So we know Hannah and Kenneth are one of my employees. Oh, that's an item lookup. I have to do my customer lookup. And I don't know if you know this about the new version of Counterpoint. You can use this button for a customer lookup. But you can also come over here to where it says customer number and click right in this field and do your customer lookups from here. Maybe. Except today. That's what I like about my job. Hey, watch this. That usually works. Well, I'll just use this for now. Okay, so I'm going to choose Hannah because she's an employee. And then I'm going to just choose a random item. So we'll just choose this men's jacket. And I'll choose a color and size. And Hannah gets a discount. Now, if I change the customer, like I'll change it to somebody that's not an employee, notice how it goes back up to full price. Okay, so that's testing the price rule, either at point of sale or through the utility. So I do have a couple of other price rules set up, and I'm going to talk about BOGO next, because BOGO is a really cool feature. So I'm just going to go back to inventory, and I'm going to go back to prices, and I'm going to go back to contract. So you can see I set up something called 5 for 5. So I gave the group code of 5 for 5. I gave it a description 5 for 5. So 5 items for $5. I didn't specify a static date. It's good every time. And when I go to rules, oh, and notice there's a mix and match code here. So when I go to rules, I said they have to buy five, and it's a fixed price. So when you're doing something like 5 for 5, your price has to be the unit price for each of the five, which would be $1. Now, because I'm using a mix match code up here, I don't need to go to the item filter and specify the qualifying items because the mix and match code is going to do that for me. I can go to sales and restrict the store or stores where this is qualified and the day of the week where the price rule is good. So I think I got a club deal in here. We'll go look at my club deal. Here's my club deal. So I set up a club deal. And in my club deal, again, there's no restrictions on date. Any customer applies. I'm going to go to rules and I'm going to say it's a BOGO. So when I come here to prices, notice I have two for pricing enabled and I'm requiring the full group to qualified. So the first one I sell is going to be priced at price 1, and the second one is going to be a fixed price of 0, or you could do a discount of 100%, totally up to you. Now I need to attach the mix match codes to the qualifying items. So I can do that manually or I can do it the easy way through the utility. If I want to do it manually because it only applies to a handful of items, you just go to inventory and go to items. Come to your table view where you can edit. Filter down for your clubs. So I'm just going to say the category is, we'll just say golf. We'll filter for the subcategory. So let me modify my filter. Just right clicking and customizing. And I'm just going to click here to add a condition and just type a C or S for subcategory. I'm just going to scroll down and find subcategory. There it is. I'm going to simplify by right clicking and simplifying. And my subcategory is clubs. And I'm going to click OK. So now I'm looking at a filtered view of my inventory, and I can actually edit in this view and assign that mix match code manually. First, I would need to add the mix match column. So I'm just going to right click anywhere where there's data, go down to my column designer, click on an element, type an M as in mix match, goes right there, double click, and now I can go through here and just assign the club code or the club deal. So I can, highlight it. I can actually Control C and then Control V to paste. Oops, wrong one. Let's try that again. Yes, I know that's not a valid mix match code. Let me click on that. Club deal. Okay, so I can copy paste. So that would be Control C and then Control V as in victory. All right. Or I can do a bulk copy paste. Now, bulk copy paste in Counterpoint is a little backwards than any other type of Microsoft program or Windows-based program. You have to start on the field you want to change and end on the value you want to change it to. So I'm starting here on a blank record. I'm going to hold down my Shift key. I'm going to up arrow. Notice how it's putting little dots in the margin over here. I'm going to up arrow. And I'm going to up arrow till I land on the value I want to change everything to, which is a club deal. And then I'm going to come up to the top here and I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy values. Get a warning, say yes, and then Counterpoint does the bulk copy paste for me. Now I'm just going to get rid of these so you can see how the utility works. So I'm going to start with what I want to change, and I'm going to end with the value I want to change it to, which is blank. I'm going to come up here to the top, and I'm going to save as default. Oops, sorry, I didn't want to do that. Cancel. I meant copy values. There we go. So now it'll make all those mix and match codes blank for the club deal. There you go. And I am going to save this column here because I might want to come back and look at it again. So save as, and I'm just going to save you as the default. Yes. But let me show you how to use the utility, because that's easy. So I'm going to go to Inventory, and I'm going to come down here to Utilities, and I'm going to go to the Assign Mix and Match Codes. And in the utility, I'm going to filter for every item that belongs to the subcategory of clubs. And there it is. And then I'm going to come down here. Assign is enabled by default, but I'm going to come down here and select the club deal. Now, if I currently have club deal attached to other items that are clubs, but they have a different mix match code, and I want to overwrite that and say, I know some of my clubs qualify for the 5 for 5, but, overwrite those for me and overwrite, the 5 for 5 with the club deal. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to leave those alone. So now I'm going to preview. So these are the items that are going to get updated through the utility, where Counterpoint's just actually going to write that club deal mix match code for me to the item records. So it's really a huge time saver, especially if you have hundreds and hundreds of items. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to click on Update Items. Gives me the report again. I can print it off and save it for later. Okay, are you sure you want to update? Why, yes, I am. And so I've updated 16 items, and that's very good. So just to take a look at that, I'm going to go ahead and look at my inventory and items. I'm going to go back to my table view, and you can see my club deal items down here. I can scroll to see them, but I can also filter just to make sure that things got the club deal mix match code that I wanted. So I'm just going to filter for my subcategory again. Subcategory is, I'm going to simplify this before I use it, and it is clubs. There we go. And I'm going to click on OK. So you can see I do have other clubs attached to other deals like buy two, get one free, or 5 for 5, but these items that are clubs are now all part of the club deal. When it comes to testing BOGO, you can't test it in the price utility for different items at the same time. You can select one item and give it a quantity of 2 or 3 or 4, whatever the qualifier is. So when it comes to testing BOGO, I definitely prefer testing in point of sale just to make sure different items qualify. So I'm going to go to point of sale, and I should have remembered to minimize that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do an item lookup, and I'm just going to filter for my clubs or my golf. And let's come down here, and here's one of my club deals. Okay, so you can see it's full price because it's going to be the second one that's free. And we find another club deal. Let me just sort this, make it a little bit easier. Okay, and so here's another one. All right, now remember the second item that's scanned is going to be free. Or not. Uh-oh, now I've got to troubleshoot. What is wrong with my price rule? Let me go ahead and void this ticket. And let me minimize this. Uh-oh, got to log a support ticket, find out what's going on here. So again, one of the first things I check is to make sure the price rule is enabled. So I'm going to go to contract prices. I'm going to do a lookup for my club deal. And here's the problem. It's not enabled. So now I'm going to enable it. And now I'm going to go back to point of sale. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and select a club deal item. So there's one. Now the second one will be free. And there you go. So you see why that scanning order really matters, because my second item is more expensive. So if somebody accidentally did that, all they have to do is just void this ticket or void the lines off the ticket and start over again. So if I get rid of this line, goodbye. And I get rid of this line, goodbye. And next I select the more expensive item first, brings up at full price. And then I'll select the less expensive item second. Now it's free. Okay, and again, I'll just go ahead and cash this out, pay the ticket balance, and ticket complete, yes. Okay, so that is price rules. Let's go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So from current slide. So hopefully you learned something today, like how to create a planned promotion and implement your planned promotion, how to build contract price rules and assign mix match codes for BOGO or qualifying items, and really how to set your group order or to remember to set the group order for the least used price rules being first in the group order or at the top of the group order, and also how to test the price rules outside of point of sale through the price test utility. So, of course, I always appreciate your feedback, topic suggestions. When you get your video Friday, there will be a survey attached, and it's a very short survey, and you can remain anonymous, or you can go directly to our website and fill out the survey, www.cksystem.com/training Bytes survey. Okay, next month, June 7th, we're going to talk about profiles, attributes, and miscellaneous charges. So these are really great and, not really heavily used mainly because people don't know they exist or they don't know how to use them. But an inventory profile or attribute allows you to add additional fields to your item record to further describe the item. Like if you're a clothing store, the fabric, is it washable or dry cleanable? What season is it from? Or if you're a landscape or an outdoor center, is it an annual or a perennial? Is it shade or sun? So that all has to do with adding these profiles and attributes. And it's super easy to do and super helpful as far as getting additional information about the item on the item record itself. You can also have customer profiles. Again, additional fields on the customer record. Maybe you want to track an anniversary date or a birth month or a favorite vendor or a favorite color. All possible through a profile. And also miscellaneous charges. You can have miscellaneous charges at point of sale, like for shipping, gift wrap, alterations. You can also have miscellaneous charges in purchasing, for purchasing, receiving, freight, rush order fees, setup fees. So we'll talk all about that next month. So make sure you sign up and join me on June the 7th. Again, 2 sessions, one at 10 o'clock, one at 1 o'clock. You can attend either one or both. And if you need some training, give me a call. I'm at extension 3. Main number, extension 3. Glad to set up training, one-on-one training tailored for you and your business. And so with that being said, let's look at the Q&A. Okay, I have a couple questions. Okay, so yes, we're definitely going to share the recording. Seems like you have an older version. Nope, I've got the latest and greatest Counterpoint version. I'm positive about that. I think I even have Service Pack 7 here. Yep, I've got the latest and greatest Service Pack 7. Okay, any other questions? Now, of course, my install might look different than yours because yours might have different verbiage on the buttons, that somebody customized for you or that you customized yourself. Your buttons might be in a different order, and that's all done through, the menu codes. But this is the latest version. Okay, any other questions? If you, I will mention before we sign off, price rules, hands down, is probably one of the harder things to learn in Counterpoint and to do well, especially if you have dozens and dozens of price rules, because the more price rules you have, the more potential there is for a conflict. If you get stuck, please log a support ticket. I had one lady that I talked to yesterday that tried to figure out her price rule issue for 2 hours and couldn't figure it out. So don't spend 2 hours pulling your hair out. Chances are we can fix that, right off the top of our heads. And if we can't, we certainly will spend the time to fix your price rule and get it working. Okay. And it looks like there aren't any questions. So Thank you for your time. Thank you for attending.